whenever I cook crab legs, I steam them in my pasta pot. So I just pulled these out of the pasta pot. I steamed them for about 5 minutes. And so I'm gonna let this cool off just a minute, and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna eat them up. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get in here and get some of this meat out. And I like to start with the smallest leg back here. So whenever I'm working with shellfish, I always remember that the joint is your friend. We wanna work with the joints of the legs. So I'm gonna pop it backwards here at the base of the legs here, and you'll notice I have some meat here, and I'll get that later. I just want to show you how we're going to get out the good part. I like this part of the leg. So I am going to go ahead, and what we want to do is get the tendon out of here. This is going to enable us to get a nice, I call it like a crab steak, right out of that shell. So we're going to pop it backwards. Okay, remember, this is the way the leg bends. We're going to go backwards with it because we want to get the tendon out. All right, so here we go. We're going to pop it back and then just gently give it a little tug, and then out comes that little tendon. This is real important to get a nice piece of meat out of the leg, okay? So we're going to also pop off this back part here. Okay, I'm just going down with it. And this is some meat we're going to get out of there later. Okay, this has meat in it too down here, and we'll get that out in a minute. And so now there's a little piece of meat in here, and we want that. That's the good part to me. I like that part. So we're going to snap it in the middle, and we're going to give it just a gentle snap. The little one's usually the hardest one to do. That's why I like to start with it first to kind of give me an idea of how the crab leg is cooked, if it's overcooked or not. Okay, so it just cracked on the other side. All right, so I snapped it one time to crack it on that side. Now I'm going to come back, turn it around, crack it again on the other side. It should crack for me, but I think it might. I may have. There we go. All right. So sometimes if it doesn't crack, you need to wiggle it up and down. So when I crack a crab leg, I consider all 4 sides. Like I've got the top and the bottom, and then the 2 sides. So I give gentle pressure to all the sides in order to pull out a nice, clean crab leg. Okay, so now we just wiggle it a little bit. And then we can discard the shell. Okay, so there's our crab leg meat. Okay, and now we can go ahead and get the rest of it. So we're going to start, I'm going to go back here, I'm going to pop it backwards. We've got some nice meat in here. I'm not going to get that yet. I'm going to go ahead and pop this towards this claw here. Pop it that way. Comes off very easily. You're just working with the diagonal there. And you'll take this leg, and we're going to pop it backwards. Okay, and then we're going to pull out that little tendon. Remember, I pulled it the opposite direction of the way that the crab leg folds. So I popped it backwards, and then I'm able to pull that tendon out. And now we're going to go in there and get that good stuff. Okay, so we're going to crack it. Do you hear a crack on one side? I'm doing this gently. Okay, I didn't crack it all the way through. Just till I heard the crack, I stopped pressure. Turn around. We're going to do it again. Just till I hear the crack. And then at this point, I may need to do the top and the bottom if they didn't crack, but they did crack. So I'm good to go with wiggling out the little piece of meat here. And we can just gently, I may need to give some pressure here, but we should be able to gently remove that, and we have some beautiful crab meat. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the rest of these. Get to the hard one, and that's this one. It's a little rascal here. It's hard to get the meat out of this, but I'm going to show you how we're going to do it. Okay, so we're going to take the claw again. We're going to pull it down just like we did the other ones. We're going to pull back against the claw. We're going to get the tendon out very gently. You notice I didn't pop it all the way back because I don't want the tendon left in there. Okay, now that I cracked it, I'm going to gently wiggle out the little tendon there. Sometimes the meat will come out of this claw. A little bit of it did actually on this one, but it doesn't always do that. This is where you actually have to have a little tool. And this is a triangular shape, so I like to go in and just give it a little gentle crack down, okay, and then a down again at the base. You might need to do this 3 times on this one, maybe 4. Loosen it up real good, and now you can pop it back and forth and pull out your meat. There's a little bit left in there. Like I said, this one's always a little tougher for me, but you can get in there and get it. I'll go back in here and get this. I'm more stubborn than this crab leg is. Okay, I'm a little more determined. Okay, so we're getting here, and we're going to get out this little bit of meat here. If I can get it out. See, I don't have a lot of tools where I'm doing this right now. I'm at another location, so I don't have my little shrimp forks and stuff. Okay, so now we have the claw to deal with. So it bends this way, but you want to crack it against the way that it bends so you can get the tendon out. Now in here, there's a big oval shape, I guess, tendon, and so that's what we want to get out of here. It's going to make it easier to get the meat out. So I cracked it against the way that it normally bends, and now I can go ahead and pull it out, and of course the tendon is still in here. Now how we get that tendon out is with this claw. And what you do with this is you pull it backwards against the way that it would normally bend. So always remember, work at opposite of your joint. You take it and you're going to bend it back, and then out it's going to come that little tendon there, that big oval thing. Out came a little meat too. I can take that. And now we're going to crack this again with the nut crackers, because this is really kind of a sharp, hard shell. So I don't want to do it this way. Don't do it this way. A lot of times it's hard and you end up getting a lot of this softer shell into your meat. You don't want that. So take it and do it against the seam. I guess you call it like a seam right there, almost of the shell. Okay, so we're going to do it like that, and we're going to crack it down just gently. A little bit there, gently a little bit there, just like I did the other one, and gently a little bit there. Okay, and now we should be able to get in here and get it out, hopefully without getting shell into the rest of our meat. I can just pry it open here, and I'll close my eyes and see the shells flying in my face. Okay, so there's a little bit of meat here that I don't want to waste, but I am going to, because I don't want to risk shells getting into my crab meat. So that was just a tiny bit. The main part of the claw is right here, and if I had my shrimp fork with me, I would get this out with my shrimp fork, but I don't. So I'm going to go ahead and just take it out with my finger, and that's some of it there. I'll go ahead and get the rest over here. Okay, and now I want to go back in and get the rest of this meat. This and the other parts. Okay, so remember the joint. We're going to break around the joint. We're going to do this one down like this, and then back up. You're going to wiggle this tendon out. And there's some meat there, and then this one's going to actually pull the tendon out of this piece of the leg. So you'll take this one, bend it back against the way it would normally bend, and pull it out. Okay, and then we're going to take this and crack it in the middle, just like we did the other ones, each side, and then top and bottom, and then gently pull, and out comes your crab meat. Okay, and let's see, we'll find another one. Now this is one of the base of the leg, and this you can actually take a shrimp fork or something and get this out, and be very careful, because this is where you can introduce a lot of shells, little fine shells, into your crab meat. And sometimes I don't like this part, but it is very sweet meat too, so I always want to get that. Okay, so I'll get that in a bit. And then when you get to one that's like this, you can kind of pull back some of those shells, and get in there and get it. But like I said, you've got to be really careful about the shells at this point. I don't normally pull anything out unless it just comes out in a little clump. If it doesn't come out in a little clump, I don't even worry about it, because I don't want to eat shell because that ruins my whole dinner, right? Okay, so here we go, a little bit more. It just kind of pulls off the tendons there. All right, and all this is good to go. There's that, there you go. And I'm gonna do one more for you, and I'm not going to talk while I do it, so you can see me do it. Here we go. Let me get another one steaming, and we'll be right back.